Fam First Friday, and it's before I get into my topic, it's always important that people come from families built off of love. So there's 101 ways to make love without doing it, and number four is kissing you is all that I've been waiting for. Kissing you is, oh yeah, I wanna kiss you. Alright, I'm probably a bad singer, but for those of you to know about it, that's Total, Kissing You. So, number four is kissing. This is another way to make love without actually doing it. Kissing is something that actually helps sometimes for people to know back in the day if this was a person that they actually be with, or someone they can say, hey, it's time to get rid of this person. But a kiss definitely helps to keep things going in a marriage and in a relationship, and it's just a sign of kindness and actual love. So, kissing. Now I'm doing part two on should parents send their kids to college right after high school. So let's get it. All right, then. Don't forget to like, share, leave a comment on this video, and then depending on where you're watching it from, subscribe to my actual channel. Then also to check out my online store. Buy yourself something, buy somebody else something. But enough of all of that. Let's get into it. All right, so we at part two, and definitely in terms of letting your kid go to college, possibly right after high school. Here are some things you should definitely look into, making sure that they are having some of these things, and this can possibly help your decision making in terms of sending them to college right away. One of them would definitely be having a scholarship. If your child definitely has a scholarship, meaning that they have a free ride and it's paid for, this is a good reason for you to actually send them off because they have a scholarship. So this means that, hey, you're not going to have to worry about actually paying anything. So there's no reason for you to worry about the money that they're going to grow in debt by them actually going to college. Now, another one is if your student is a student athlete, meaning that they get a scholarship through sports. And then, as you guys know, a lot of athletes are getting paid off of NIL deals. So if your student is very good at some type of sport and you feel that, hey, they're going to make money off of this sport and they're going to get endorsements and things like that, then this is a good reason to say, hey, you know what, I can go ahead and send them off to college or to a university. Then also too, you want to look at their grades. Were they an A and B type student? It may not be that they're able to actually get a scholarship or get a free ride by being an athlete. But if they were an A and B student, A and B average, this usually means that they will do a good job in college, because this means that things in college typically get a little bit harder than what they are in high school. So if they're coming home with A's and B's, then they should be most likely able to succeed in college. Now, another thing to just mention, a lot of A and B students usually end up working for owners who are C average students. But I'll get into that a little bit later. Now, last but not least, you definitely want to see, is my child or my son, daughter, disciplined? Discipline and being able to be disciplined is going to be a big driver in them actually not dropping out and them actually failing out, because if they're disciplined to stay away from the partying, stay away from all the sexual pleasures that will be offered to them, the drugs and things like that, and just them being able to be responsible as far as getting their schoolwork done and taking the time to actually study. If you feel your kid is not capable of possibly doing those things, this may be a good sign to think that they're not ready for college or a university lifestyle at this point in time. Now, also, some of the great benefits of actually going to college and possibly even going right after high school is kids are able to actually grow up. Oftentimes, when they're staying at home with you, sometimes they will fall into a deeper, childish state. But when you send them off to college and they're going uh, to have to stay in a place in a dorm with other students, and they're going to have to get up and wake up and take care of themselves and everything without you actually doing it, it helps them in their adulthood and them being, as some people say, they struggle with adulting. So this definitely helps them out because they have to do all these things for them to actually be successful and graduate. So they have to take care of things and get things done, and they get a better understanding of adulthood. Now, another thing that comes in as a good thing in terms of going to college is relationships. Oftentimes, a lot of people build lifelong relationships, friends that they may be, friends with for a long time, people that may be in their wedding and things like that, and just people that they'll actually grow old with. And I'm not talking about in terms of a relationship, in terms of a marriage, but just having maybe their best friend. They may meet their best friend in college. They may meet some friends that will help them to actually start a business, some friends that will help them to network to get to other places and get good paying jobs. And even, too, some people may join a sorority or a fraternity, and this is a thing that's a lifelong thing where they usually get together with these brothers and sisters and do things with them. So it's definitely a good thing. It helps you to actually network and get to know other people. And then, yes, you may meet the love of your life on the college campus. A lot of times, people, because they are moving towards that state of being an adult, they meet and find somebody that they really like, they fall in love with, and then they end up marrying them. So this is also a good thing as far as going to college right after high school. And then whether or not people would like to say, hey, you're not able to get a great job. A lot of people aren't able to get good jobs or, jobs that's going to pay for most of their debt. One of the things, definitely by having a degree from a college, no matter what kind of college it is, it's going to give you a little bit leverage on other people. So there may be other people applying for jobs that won't actually get the job just because they don't have an actual college degree. And by you actually having a college degree, this will help you and open up doors for you to do other things. Oftentimes, I have met people on jobs where they just had a college degree and they didn't have a college degree in what they were actually doing. But because they had a college degree, they were able to get certain jobs that other people who didn't have a college degree couldn't actually get. And then last but not least is definitely will be a higher state of learning. So oftentimes, a lot of parents complain about in high school they don't really feel like their kids are getting a great education. So when you go to college, you're getting a higher form of education. There's a lot of subjects and things that they teach you in college that you wouldn't get taught in other places or in other platforms. So it's definitely good because you're getting a better education than most people actually have. Now, in part one, I was saying that oftentimes people send their kids straight to college right after high school because they don't really know what to do with them afterwards, after high school, if they're not actually going to college. And so some of the things that you can actually do possibly with your son, your daughter after high school, if well, for whatever reason, hey, they barely made it out of high school, and I'm not really sure if they're going to actually succeed in college. They're not, they weren't getting the A's and B's, and they possibly weren't even a C average student, but they somehow made it through high school. So what do I do with them now? One of the things you can definitely do with them is you can get them to actually start working. Even any job that they can actually pick up, you can get them to start working and showing them how to actually save money and put money away for the future. And then you can possibly teach them how to actually invest as well. So, I mean, you can be working a minimal wage job, but as long as you're able to pay some bills and have some money to invest, you can definitely move up in terms of your actual money and what you're actually making. But then too, for a lot of parents, they can actually help you guys out at home with some of the bills that you actually have to pay and that you're going through. You can have them to start helping out with some of those bills. So this way, this will help you out and help them out. And then eventually they will gain a good work ethic that will help them to actually move on and possibly get themselves an apartment or something else and actually move out the house. Now, here's another thing too. If they're working, this can actually lead to them possibly buying a property. Usually, when people go to college campuses, they try to offer you a credit card, and then you get these credit cards, and then you max them out, and then you have to pay it back, and then you start getting credit card debt. Now, in other ways, you can actually take your child, your daughter, your son, and you can actually open up a credit card in their name when they're actually 16, and then start building their credit score, and eventually give them that credit card, and then they will have a whole lot of money on their credit. So then this can help them to possibly actually go out and buy a house or put a down payment on a house, and then this can start leading to them actually owning something, and then possibly making a business out of actually buying properties and selling properties or renting them out and making money that way. Now, another thing too is if you are a parent that actually has your own business and you're working your own business, you can have them start actually working in your business and helping you out with the business that you're doing or the business that you're possibly trying to get off the ground. So by you knowing them and knowing that this is your kid, they can be there spending time with you, and you guys can work together to actually get this business off the ground. And then definitely last but not least, just because they may not have the best type of grades and things like that, that could be just a possibility that they weren't actually focused at that point in time when they were in high school. But if you send them to a JC, a junior college, you can see if they're going to start actually getting focused. And if they do, then they can spend 2 years there and actually save on money, because these are still college courses that they're actually taking, so they can take them there and then eventually transfer to a university, 4-year college, and actually finish there and only have to do 2 or 3 years, and they can save a whole lot of money because they will only be paying tuition for 2 years or 3 years rather than paying for 4 or 5 or possibly 6 years, depending on how long it may take them to actually graduate. So this is a way that a family can actually see if their kid is going to start doing right, and then if they don't, and let's just say they flunk out of JC, at least you guys didn't lose a whole lot of money. So these are some things that you can do. But this has been another Fam First Friday. Alright, so in terms of games to actually watch over the weekend, I'm going to give you my top 10, and then you know what, I'm going to be probably do a video as far as the NFL and making my picks or whatnot. So I won't do any NFL games. I'm going to just stick with the WNBA and college. And definitely with the WNBA, these games will be on Sunday. But I'm going with the Aces over the Fever. I just felt like the Aces, they have won a few years back, twice back to back. I feel like they go get hot again this year. I feel like they're gonna win. Then you got the Mercury versus the Lynx and the Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota Lynx. I feel like they just go keep on doing what they've been doing this season. So I'm going to go with them with that W. Now, on to college football, which I think this is going to actually be, it's one of those weeks where it's not as many big games, but I feel like there are some big games. It's just like a lot of these teams ain't just ranked, but it's a few rivalry kind of games, and then a few of those games where it's going to be some separation, where you got some people that are undefeated, haven't lost yet, but now they're actually going up against a team that they really got to play against. So with that being said, I got Oklahoma beating Auburn. I just feel like Oklahoma's going to be at home, and that crowd's going to pump them up. Then you got Ole Miss versus Tulane. Tulane has not lost. Ole Miss has not lost, and would be a big game for Tulane to actually win. But I don't think they are, and I'm going to go with Ole Miss. Then you have Illinois versus Indiana. These are both top 25 teams. But I do kind of like Illinois, but I really don't know what they are yet, and I feel the same way with Indiana. But since Indiana's at home, I'm picking them. Then you have Texas Tech versus Utah, and it's kind of like the same thing. You really don't know where both of these teams are. Are they as good as what they've been showing? So we go really get to see, but since Utah's at home, I'm going with Utah. Now in the rivalry game, for two schools who don't like each other and been playing for years, it's SMU versus TCU. Now SMU has won the last 2 years, but I feel like TCU is tired of that, and they are at home. I'm going with TCU. Then another two teams that really don't like each other, Florida and Miami. And this does look like it could be an upset for Florida, but I just feel like Miami is upset about what happened last year, and they're going to do what they got to do to make sure they make the playoffs. I'm going with Miami. Then ending with the Big Ten, you got Michigan versus Nebraska. And Michigan is ranked, but I feel like Nebraska is going to be ranked after this game. I'm going with Nebraska. I think they just are ready for people to put some respect on their name. Then you have USC versus Michigan State. This should be an interesting game. Both teams are undefeated. USC is ranked. USC is at home, so I'm going to go with USC. And there you have it. Top 10 games to watch over this weekend. And you know what? No matter if you decide to send your kids off to college right after high school, or if you actually don't, just remember this: when they are an adult, that doesn't mean that you actually stop being their parents. Oftentimes, people, once their kids are 18, they throw them to the wolves and they just say, "Hey, yeah, you're an adult now. Go out and figure things out on your own." No, you should actually help them out and help them even in their adulthood, because they're still going to need help from you. So don't just throw them to the wolves. Make sure that you actually help them out and help them to continue to succeed even in adulthood. But as always, families are like branches. We grow apart, but together we stand out.